Besides the fact that it took 16 minutes for Christie to even mention Mitt Romney's name, there's even more proof that Christie's speech must not have been vetted by the Romney campaign. Check out what Christie said last night about the GI Bill.
Dad grew up in poverty, and after returning from Army service, he worked at the Breyers ice cream plant in the 1950s. Now, with that job and the GI Bill, he put himself through Rutgers University at night to become the first in his family to earn a college degree.
That's right. Christie praised the GI Bill for letting his father become the first member of his family to go to college. Of course, the GI Bill is part of a massive government investment in education that was signed by FDR in 1944, something that Mitt Romney and the rest of the Republican Party are absolutely opposed to, which is really a shame because our nation desperately needs investments in education. But instead, the United States seems to be spending all of its money on incarceration instead of education. According to a recent Pew Research Center report, between 1987 and 2007, nationwide spending on prisons increased 127%. But nationwide spending on higher education only went up 21%. State of Pennsylvania, for example, prison spending is double education spending. Thanks to the failed war on drugs, in the last 30 years, the incarceration rate in America has jumped from 220 people out of every 100,000 to 743 out of every 100,000. That equates to 2 million more prisoners in America, a quarter of whom are nonviolent drug offenders. And for the first time in history, both prison spending and student loan debt have each topped $1 trillion. We haven't heard anything about the failed drug war yet at the RNC, and frankly, I doubt we will. But isn't it time we end it and divert that money wasted on it to sending more young Americans to college? Mark Harold joins me now. He's an attorney, libertarian commentator, and author of the book Observations of White Noise, an acid test for the First Amendment. Mark, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us.
Thanks.
Usually you and I are fighting about some topic, but I am guessing that this, at least the notion of rolling back the drug war, is something with which you would agree.
Oh, absolutely. The drug war has been out of control. We look at the numbers, and I think in 1980, 10% were drug abusers, drug users, people who possess drugs, about 10% of the overall prison population. You know, now it's more like 25%. And what changed, of course, was just say no. Anytime a government goes to war against its people, and you declare a war on drugs, a war on whatever, you're going to have problems. Marijuana is one of the biggest problems. People shouldn't be in jail for possessing marijuana. I don't think people should be in jail for using marijuana. It needs to be classified differently. It's in there with ecstasy and heroin. They need to criminalize marijuana. They need to change the 1970 Controlled Substances Act. And they need to take a lot of steps. We have too many people in prison. We've basically declared war on people, and people in this country. We've criminalized a lot of things that shouldn't be criminalized, and because we have so many laws, people break them. And then, as we've talked about, because of ALEC, because of the big business of private prisons, and we've talked about this, I'm usually for privatization, but not for the military, not for prisons, because I have a law enforcement background. When you really look at this, there is big money in truth in sentencing laws. There is big money in a law, 3 strikes laws. They fill up the beds, and there's big money in filling those beds for private prisons.
Yeah.